It is time once again for another Chicago Bears postgame show on the KeNikka Sports Channel, everybody. Today we are talking about this ugly loss to Detroit yesterday to close out the 2025 regular season. And we now will turn our attentions to the Green Bay Packers and the wild card round, who they play Saturday night at Soldier Field. It will be on Amazon Prime, everybody, along with your local affiliate for Fox.
Nice.
Indeed. And that's locally. So if you don't live in the Chicagoland or in the Green Bay area, you will have to watch this game on Amazon Prime.
Okay, I like it.
Indeed. Wow. The Bears are going to the playoffs. It's still hard to believe, but this was not the way I wanted the Bears to go into the playoffs at all. This was one of the ugliest games of the season for me. The season. And this is a game where we lost to Detroit already by 31. This game was uglier to me.
Yeah, the team just didn't show up.
I mean, when you have no points on the board for the first 3 quarters of this game, I couldn't believe what I was watching. I hated watching every second of it. I hated it.
It was a ugly and very depressing game when you looked at it from when you zoom it out today.
Oh, yeah. It was not at all, like I said, how I felt like we should be going into the playoffs. I felt like all this, you're on a team on the rise. You're a team that's kind of getting better week in and week out. Like yesterday was not good, better, best football that we've come to be accustomed to from this team. They looked flat a lot yesterday at times. And
they haven't adjusted.
It just makes me feel like they had already moved ahead to the playoffs. And that because they had already known that the Eagles were resting their starters and had a chance to probably lose, they were just like, well, they didn't show up.
They did not show up.
It just doesn't feel like they showed up.
And it does make you wonder whether the external forces like the Eagles, we already know we're in the playoffs, whether the number 2 or number 3 seed, it doesn't matter. We are already there. That played a factor into the game yesterday.
The Bears are kind of heading on a few bad trends going into the playoffs. We're going to talk about it here in our traditional good, bad, and ugly post-game show. One lone bright spot for the Bears coming out of this game for me is that Caleb Williams did not reach 4,000 yards.
Was that a factor too?
I don't know if they put too much attention on this ahead of the game. I mean, it was a major story in Chicago and in Chicagoland. In all of the NFL media landscape, it seemed to be a story. And, of course, the Bears famously do not have a 4,000-yard passer in a single season, and they are the only NFL franchise to have yet reached that milestone, despite being the oldest NFL franchise.
Hey,
you can't make this shit up, folks. You just can't. Nevertheless, he falls 58 yards short in this final game. And the bright spot for me is now, even though he has to start over from scratch in another season, he can hopefully do it in 16 games so that all the people who cry about, well, it's a 17-game schedule now, and my quarterback did it when it was 16, so we don't have to deal with that shit either. You know, like I'm all about checking off boxes, right? Like, you know, yesterday I wanted us to get this milestone in the rear view so we didn't have to talk about it anymore. And now, since we are going to have to talk about it again, this is my wish for it, is do it in 16 games. And like,
So
you know,
let's
go for 5,000 yards too. Like, I mean, there's only been less than 2 handfuls of quarterbacks, I think, that have done that in history. If I think it was 9 or something, but I mean, obviously Brady and Manning and those guys have done the 5,000 yard seasons. Mahomes has a 5,000 yard season.
Oh, nice.
So, I mean, you know, Caleb gets oft compared to him. Like, you want to live up to it? Like, let's just shoot past 4,000 next year is my point, and not make it a thing ever again. Gosh, that burns my ass that we didn't get that yesterday. It burns my ass, Nika.
Okay.
That last drive had it all set up for it, too.
No.
We'll talk about it. This was a playoff tune-up game, we said, going into it. Yikes. What are we in for? I wrote down.
Oh, my gosh. And watching the Seahawks games day before, Bears have 0 chances when it comes to a defense like that.
Yeah, Bears.
0.
In the Bears defense yesterday, I guess, is like a lot of teams played like dog crap yesterday and Saturday included. Not a lot of high-scoring octane offense heading into the finale. Let me see here. I got the scorecard. The NFL Week 18 winners. I mean, yeah, the Texans put up 38 points. The Jaguars 41. The Giants 34. The Buffalo Bills put up 35 on the Jets. Who hasn't done that? Of course, the Rams and the Patriots scored their points. Not a lot of other high-scoring games in the NFL this weekend. A lot of like teenage games. 16-3. The Green Bay, by the way, heading into the playoffs on a 4-game losing streak. The Bears heading in on a 2-game losing streak.
Oh, nice.
Something's got to give.
There's going to be a winner. There's going to be a winner. But who?
Interesting. We'll get to the Green Bay matchup at the very end of this post-game show, but I want to do the 2025 season wrap-up justice. You know, like this is the official end of the 2025 regular season, so it does mark an end of the first milestone, I would say, in Ben Johnson's head coaching career, and we just got a lot to talk about. But before we get into everything from this game, let us look at some of the reactions to it, Nika, and go to the X-Files, everybody. Welcome to the X-Files, where we look at some of the reactions to the Bears game from X, everybody, which is, of course, the social media platform that is formerly known as Twitter.
And everybody's very vocal on it.
Yes, there's lots of opinions on it, and we like to look at those opinions and formulate opinions of our own. Here is head coach Ben Johnson from Marquee Sports Network after the game. Quote, "We're going to have to pick it up.
Oh.
I get fired up just thinking about it right now." Okay, good. I'm glad somebody is, because the product I saw in the field itself yesterday looked quite lethargic in some areas. Yikes. Ben Johnson did not look happy in this postgame show. I would not want to be a Bears player
today
going to film for this game. There might be some personal accountability inside of that film room with people.
Okay.
And certain plays and loafing. Bears quarterback Caleb Williams said it was, quote, "not good enough. Not good enough to win this game. Not good enough to win the upcoming games." Agreed.
Great.
Agreed on all accounts. I hope we can fix it in time.
And it's a shorter week because the game is Saturday.
It is, yes. So it is a short week. Great call, Nika. So not a lot of time to fix any problems that were existing in this game. Bears insider Ben Devine says the last 2 games have shown that the Chicago Bears relying on coming back in the fourth won't always end well. You got to be better. You got to have better first halves.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree with him too. I think it's important to remind people that Michael Jordan missed 26 game-winning shots, including 4 in the NBA Finals. I think it's important to remind people of that. You know, you're not always going to win when you let it come down to the wire, but if you do it enough times, that's all people will remember.
And I don't think this is what you want to be remembered by. This isn't a greatness that you should be shining light on.
I mean, it just depends on when and where the circumstances of that close game comeback come in. Like, if they start to come in the playoffs in a week or two, then you can start to add on to that history and that legacy and be like, not only is he known for it in the regular season, but he's known for it in the postseason too. I don't think it's a negative quality or something that you don't want to be known for, because we see a lot of games in the league are close week to week. We see how Vegas likes to put the odds on some of these games, and we're like, huh? What do they know that we don't know?
Well, that's fair, but you also want a quarterback that shows up in the first 3 quarters.
We got to play better in the beginning of the games, and we're going to talk about that in the good, bad, and ugly for sure. I got some stats I want to get into and some trends. Colin Cowherd says the Bears are very good but strange. No team flips a switch quite like Chicago. Tie game. This is, of course, when the Bears came back and tied it at 16 after being goose-egged for the first 3 quarters of this game. And he's right. It is strange sometimes. And it does leave you going like, how did this happen? And you have to literally watch the entire series of events unfold and be like, oh, okay. And there's a specific one at the end of this game that we're going to talk about.
Okay.
Just another year, Chicago Bears. Our guy Nick says this was a tough loss for Chicago. The Bears enter the playoffs at 11-6 in Ben Johnson's first season. Caleb Williams also owns the Bears' single-season passing record with 3,926 yards. I believe this got changed to 3,942. Still grateful to say we're in the playoffs as NFC North champions. I'm grateful for that too, but I also feel like it's a bit of a anticlimactic finish. We finish under 500 in our division, and we are the only division, I believe, in football with every team to finish over 500. So,
well, when you put it like this, that is not looking good for the playoffs.
Well, it's a tough division.
It is.
And we knew that going into it. And even the Vikings, who had atrocious quarterback play at times this year, they still finish above 500. That's pretty crazy to me. Again, this all adds up to not how we wanted to particularly be going into the playoffs. So, yeah, I agree with Nick that it's still a positive season. You know, I still have to maintain that this is all gravy. It's just now I guess I got a little bit greedy because I wanted us to really finish 500, finish strong, give Ben Johnson that win against his former team. Dan Wiederer, of course, the beat reporter for The Athletic, for the New York Times, who covers the Bears, formerly of the Chicago Tribune, says, on Sunday evening anyway, this was not a delight of a division championship team. A number 2 seed that earned a home game for its postseason opener. This was a shaken group looking to regain its equilibrium. Yeah, I had said before this game that I wanted the Bears to kind of come out and reestablish their identity on both offense and defense. And I think I agree with Dan. The Bears are left after this game still searching for that identity again. And so not a positive takeaway for both of us in that regard. Not how we wanted to see them finish. This was another excerpt from his article that got posted. He says, even with the Bears collectively vowing to rapidly turn the page, that task may now be the equivalent of flipping over a 150-pound stone tablet. I mean, he went full on biblical with this in this particular analogy here. So is it that monumental of a task right now, Nika? I mean, I don't know if it's
biblical and necessarily
150 pounds. I think they definitely have some questions, though, that they need to ask themselves around the building this week. And if they want to go further on into the playoffs, other than being a round 1 exit to your lifelong arch nemesis.
I hope there's more.
I hope there's more. I do. But you can't blame people at this point for asking questions, I think, after what they saw yesterday.
Oh, I agree. Should be asking questions.
David Haw on the Bears morning show this morning, 670 The Score. I caught a little bit of this. Says, quote, forget the ugly loss to the Lions. The Bears are a good football team and, in my mind, are more equipped to win Saturday's game than the Packers are because of health, because of proximity, and because of Ben Johnson. And I like the positive thinking here, David Haw. I just don't know if I agree.
It's good to look at the glass half full.
It is, but I also feel like whenever you're looking at the other team's injury list as a positive advantage, like you're already losing.
Yes.
Like just go out there and play your game against the guys that they have and just don't bring it up. I don't care who's out on the field. We've already seen like a decimated Packers team come into Soldier Field and win a 58 minutes of a game, basically.
They did.
All they have to do is close and finish, and then
you done.
And so I wonder who has more confidence and edge going into this game right now. Vegas certainly thinks it's not the Bears.
I will have to agree with this. I think Packers have a lot more confidence going into this because they have more experience.
I just don't want to hear that the Bears should win this game because of the Packers' injuries.
That's
again.
not an excuse.
It's not a good storyline for this week, and I hope it doesn't become the focus. Eric Lambert, meanwhile, from Sports Mockery, he decided to go full-on conspiracy mode here, Nika. He said, did the Bears quietly throw the Lions game? Evidence is mounting. I clicked on this. Boy, oh boy. I don't know what to make of this. I don't think so. I don't think the Bears like intentionally lost the game. The basic crux of his theory, though, is that they didn't look like themselves yesterday. And I do agree with him on that. And was it by design? Like, did they? I don't know.
Let me get my tinfoil hat for that one.
That's really a stretch. My dad. I want to turn my attentions to my dad. My dad, in my opinion, had the text message of the day, everybody. If my dad had a Twitter account, he might have killed it. He might have went viral with this one. He says, man, just absolutely awful, angry face with the expletive bleeped out. And then he writes, WTF, ... That Bear team, especially today, could not go out and win this game at home for their coach that left the Lions to come to Chicago. Bears should have gone out there, kicked ass, and taken names, plus presented their coach with the game ball as a way to say thank you. P.O.P., which means pissed off Papa. I've known that for years. Now you know it too.
That's a great quote.
The P.O.P.
Tweet, if you
is
will.
not something you want to see, everybody. Let me put it that way. So,
but it's a great point.
This was the text message of the day, and I'm glad my dad was fired up just as much as I was about this, because I hated watching this game. I'm gonna end this segment the way I started it. I hated it. Nika.
I know you did.
It's because it was ugly.
It was ugly.
And we're gonna start with the ugly.
All right.
For the final show of the year. Instead of good, bad, ugly, we're gonna go ugly, bad, good.
Oh, nice.
All right, and we're gonna start with the ugly. Conspiracy theories aside. The Bears defense does not look like a contender to me right now. You see the Seahawks on Saturday, how dominant they were in San Fran.
Yep.
And you see how our defense got carved up there, the same place just 6 days earlier. And the Niners were healthier against the Seahawks, everybody. George Kittle was out there. I don't know what happened, but our defense just does not look like it is Super Bowl worthy, and that means I feel like we got to check our expectations. The last 3 games in particular have me really sweating this Green Bay rematch, everybody. I am sweating it on Saturday. Like, I just feel like we're gonna get gashed up and down the field like the Lions did to us yesterday. We couldn't get off the field on 3rd down. All of a sudden, time of possession, which the Bears are dominating in all season long. In fact, they're still in the top 10 on the season stats because they were that good since the bye week in week 5. All of a sudden, the last 3 games, they're getting their ass demolished, like in favor of 35 minutes plus to the other team. You can see it right here in the stats. We got the Packers game. They had the ball 38 minutes versus our 26. And if you're wondering why that's over 60, it's because there was some overtime in that game, folks. The 49ers have the ball 33 minutes and 33 seconds to our 26 minutes. The Lions had the ball for 35 minutes and 45 seconds to our 24 minutes and 15 seconds. We didn't even have the ball for 25 minutes yesterday. So what was once a dominant strength of this team, Nika, has kind of disappeared here.
It seems like the last 3 games have been going downwards more for the possession.
And this is not just an offensive thing. This is a lot to do with the defense. And let me tell you why. It's because teams have gotten the word out on the street on how to beat the Bears. And it's called keep away. And it means keep the ball away from the offense and kind of play their own game against them. They're running the ball down our throats. They're extending drives, and they're converting on 3rd down, everybody. I looked at this yesterday, and the Lions get 6 out of 13 on 3rd down yesterday, and Jared Goff picks us apart, 27 of 42. Not the highest completion percentage out there, but 331 yards, a touchdown, an interception, only 1 touchdown. And that gets me to my last point I want to make about the defense here is like we're getting gashed up and down the field. We're giving up tons of yardage, and we're staying out on the field now tons of times. So our time of possession, you saw how lopsided it's been. That means our defense is getting exhausted out there, everybody. They've taken this. I've heard this now in the last couple broadcasts that the Bears have this bend, don't break philosophy on defense, meaning we'll give up some big plays, but when it comes down to the touchdowns, we're going to tighten up and clamp down on you. And this whole philosophy is fine up until the point where you're not getting off the field, you guys. They're not getting the big plays like the Packers got on you and scoring in 4 minutes like the 49ers got on you. The Lions and the 49ers and the Packers, they started to play slow ball on you and just take the 9-yard pickups, the 10-yard pickups, and just kind of dance their way down the field at their own leisurely pace. And the next thing you know, you don't have the ball.
Yeah.
And if you don't have the ball, you can't score. So I don't like this trend. I don't like this direction because it's kind of taking the ball out of the hands of our offense, everybody. The Bears need to tighten up on third down. They need to tighten up, period. They're just giving up too many medium long plays, and it's not getting them off the field.
Well, and defense wins championships. I'm sorry to say that. Not the offense.
Yeah.
You need both, but you got to have a defense in order to drive the offense.
I don't know if we have the personnel right now.
Probably not.
All right. Well, that's the ugly part of this game. Let's talk about some bad.
Okay.
The bad for me was that we still had a chance to win this game. And yet the last Bears offensive possession was terrible. What happened here? We get the ball back on an interception in a tie game at home, and we go home losers? I'm just not used to this. I don't think I mean, we should have won this game. Yeah. Just on that alone. When you look at the trend and all the come from behind victories, like we were all set up to still win this game, despite the ugliness that I just talked about. Yeah. And yet that last offensive series left me scratching my head. Like, what was this, everybody? If you'll remember, the Bears ran a fake handoff on the first play and ran a quick slant to Luther Burden, and the ball came in hot. He didn't catch it, and the clock stopped. It was a fast play. 2 seconds or so came off the clock. Second play, incomplete pass. Third play, one of the plays had the intentional grounding. It became 3rd and 20. So the second down play had the intentional grounding. The Lions brought a blitz. Caleb threw the ball away. There was no one around, and the refs called intentional grounding. And next thing you know, it's 3rd and 20. 3rd and 20 when we had just gotten a game momentum-changing interception.
Wow.
And we made a pass, but we didn't get close to the marker. They didn't go for it. They punted. The Lions used the rest of the clock, and they kicked a field goal as time expired. Game over. End of story. That's how this game ended. And, even more concerning than that series to me are just these slow starts.
Yes.
Even in San Francisco, when we put up 38 points, our first 2 drives were 3 and outs. Go back and relook at the tape. We got a pick 6 to start that game.
Was given
and then
to us, yeah.
Gave the game right back to the 49ers 14-7 and it became a shootout from there. If we show up to the shootout on time, we win that game by 2 touchdowns.
So you're saying they were $1 short and a day late?
Day late and $1 short.
Yeah.
That's the one. The slow starts are they're getting to me because I feel like at the beginning of the season, this was a strength of this team, and that they would come into a game prepared to face the opponent that they're seeing and score in the first quarter of games. And that it slowly has now kind of gone away. And this was a strength, and now it's a weakness. And I don't know if we can get it back in just with 6 days to prepare for a playoff game.
That'll be rough.
Only 270 yards of offense yesterday. That is not winning football, everybody. That's a yucky. Now, DJ Moore's mystery continues. 1 catch yesterday for 11 yards only, 3 times targeted. This is a weird one. If the catch against the Packers doesn't happen, not only in overtime, but also at the end of the fourth quarter, DJ Moore will have then been absent for like the last 6 or 7 games of this season. And
he's the veteran.
He's the veteran that's supposed to be like leading this crew right now, even with a healthy Rome Odunze. So it leaves a little bit of a head scratcher here. And what's going on? Maybe it was a conspiracy. I'm kidding. I don't buy into that crap. This is odd, to say the least. And it's just a mystery. The Bears need to find their swagger on offense immediately if they want to have any chance against the Green Bay Packers. I don't know if it's going to happen. The MO on how to beat them is out there. you keep the ball away from them and you run long drives against their defense.
Well,
and they won't stop you.
In the world of baseball, we always say the teams will make an adjustment to a pitchers. The same should apply to football. The teams will find a way to stop your passing game or your offense.
Yeah, I guess I started to see some pressure at the line of scrimmage yesterday with a little bit more, bringing the cornerback up, bringing a linebacker up, showing different looks. I like that, but at the same time, it wasn't getting the Bears any results. Like, it just makes me feel like there's a talent issue as well when it comes to putting pressure. And that extends not just at the line of scrimmage, but when it comes to bringing blitzers and stuff too. Like other teams are better at it than we seem to be. That's for sure, especially against us. Someone's always breaking free against us and chasing Caleb out there. But it seems like Goff is not a lot on the run yesterday, just 2.5 sacks. And he's a pretty immobile guy.
Yeah, he's an old school quarterback, if you will.
Indeed. All right. Well, we had a little bit of good in this game we should talk about. Nika, let's talk about it. The Bears, despite losing another game, were in a chance to win another game. And like I said, I expect them to win this game. I said that earlier, and I think that that's a good thing, actually. And I wanted to say that. Expecting the Bears to win this game yesterday when they got the ball back just before the 2-minute warning after the interception, we should expect them to win this game. We're not going to always win, and we shouldn't always wait to come down to the wire either. They did put themselves in a position to have a chance, and this whole season, I have to keep reminding myself, Nika, is all gravy. The Bears are ahead of schedule. They weren't supposed to be here, and yet it's really, really hard to do. I'm telling you that in the moment. It's hard not to get wrapped up in it and be like, we can go and win the Super Bowl.
Of course, because you see the results in the other games, how well they have been doing and how well they played. And then you have the last 3 games and the reality kicks in.
You start to see brief moments, brief pockets that, this could be a great team. But it's a team effort. As you said, it's not just down to one person or a handful of people, but it comes down to your entire 53-person roster. And, I just think the Bears are a good football team, but I don't think they're all there yet in my heart. As much as I want to believe it, my heart isn't even willing to believe it, let alone my mind.
Because we saw what happened yesterday.
Yeah, and we've seen what's happened against San Fran and what happened against Green Bay the week before. If it wasn't for the miracle comeback, as fun as that was, the Bears would have lost that game. They'd have been maybe not even in the playoffs. They'd have finished, who knows. But the point is that the Bears are a good football team, and we have our head coach. We have our franchise passing leading quarterback now. He did anticlimactically become the Bears franchise leading passer yesterday without knocking off the 4,000. And more importantly, though, I think we have rookies contributing here, Nika. We have, look at this, Colston Loveland here. I didn't realize this yesterday. Colston Loveland was the first rookie since 1983 for the Chicago Bears to lead their team in receiving yards. He passed up DJ Moore and Ruom Odunze and winds up leading the Bears in receiving yards this year. And that hasn't happened since 1983 when it was Willie Gault, everybody, who did it for the Chicago Bears.
Okay, so we got some positive.
So it's a nice feather in his cap for him. And that answered an earlier question about 1981. It was not Willie Gault because he was a rookie in 1983. Previous episode. Caleb Williams. We can hang our hats on this. According to Jacob Infante, he says Bears quarterback Caleb Williams finished 7th with 3,942 passing yards, 27 touchdowns. That's 6th. 6 fourth quarter comebacks. That's first, and 6 game-winning drives, tied for second. He's the first Bears quarterback to finish top 10 in passing yards since Eric Kramer in 1995. Wow.
It's been a while.
The Bears haven't had one quarterback in the top 10 in passing yards. If that doesn't show you how unmodern the Bears have been for most of my lifetime, then I don't know what will. But I'm certainly glad things seem to be changing.
Yes. And the change doesn't happen overnight. Let's be realistic about this.
One little highlight nugget from the broadcast yesterday, which wound up not being as awesome as it probably could have been. Kevin Burkhardt and Tom Brady on the call. Not as exciting as that Bears-Packers game a couple weeks before this, unfortunately for them. But Tom Brady did get a little fun nugget in there. He called Colston Loveland a little mini Gronk on the broadcast,
Nice.
referring, of course, to Gronkowski, his tight end that he played with so famously. I don't know if Colston Loveland's anything little, folks. He's a big boy out there. All right. Well, I wrote this down at the end of my notes here. Can the Bears play a complete game versus the Packers on Saturday? I don't know.
I don't either.
I hope so. But we haven't seen them play a full 60-minute game this year, despite their record being 11-6. I think the closest they came was against the Eagles, everybody, on Black Friday, where they just went into Philadelphia and dominated them. And almost from start to finish of that game, where they scored early, like we talked about, and they also scored a beautiful touchdown pass in the fourth quarter to Cole Kmet to extend their already big lead to 24-9 on the road. And that was like pretty much the nail in the coffin. We haven't seen the Bears finish off a game like that or start a game like that in a long time. And I just don't know if they're going to be able to do it in 6 days before this Packers game.
Well,
I hope so.
They can watch the video from that game.
They absolutely should.
They should.
But I want to get to some final thoughts
Okay.
here, not just on this game, but on the 2025 regular season as well, because despite the fact that we have football in 6 days, it is the end of a kind of first chapter for Ben Johnson and the 2025 Chicago Bears. The regular season is over. 11-6 is the record. We finish ahead of schedule, as we've said over and over on not just this episode, but a lot of episodes. The Bears have a bright future. I really do believe that. And I think the fact that we have our coach, franchise quarterback, it puts us ahead of the game right there. I hope it will continue to do so until that changes. Until Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams are not here, I hope that we are ahead of the game, or ahead of a lot of other teams out there. There's teams looking for head coaches today. It's Black Monday. Knowing that we got a head coach that our entire city and media seem to like right now, he's going to have a honeymoon period now and that chance to, further cement himself as a great coach for the Chicago Bears team. So we have that. We are ahead of the game. We are ahead of schedule. I hope it's for a very, very long time. But in the meantime, we should absolutely still try and play our best games to close out this 2026 year. It is 2026. We flipped the page and we got to do it one game at a time. This fan base, please, needs to compartmentalize and focus on Green Bay. We can talk about Max Crosby. We can talk about Myles Garrett. We can talk about DJ Moore, draft picks, strength of schedule, blah, 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 et cetera, et cetera. We just all have to do a much better job of staying focused on the present. Hell, I think the 4,000-yard storyline was a distraction this week for this team, and I don't know if it carried onto the field yesterday and played a role.
It might have. We will never know. But it's very similar, like I said to you earlier. It's when high school is over, you took all your tests.
Yep.
And you still have to go to school for 2 more weeks, even though you already know where your placement is for the next year.
Yeah.
And that was the Bears game yesterday.
They already knew their placement in the playoffs, kind of, because of the Eagles' outcome. And I don't know if anybody really cared enough about whether they would play the Rams or not.
Probably not.
They still got to play a home game. And that was like their goal, I think, this year, much like the Cubs. It was like, we want to get to the playoffs.
Those are little goals. They're
They
not
are.
looking bigger.
They can talk all they want, but talk is cheap. You see
Yes.
actions on the field, and that did not look like a team that was playing a tune-up game for the playoffs yesterday, like
did
the
not.
Patriots were, so to speak.
Exactly.
Or like the Broncos were, so to speak. So
Go Broncos.
I think the Broncos are going to be a tough out in the AFC, everybody.
Yeah.
So buckle up. Anyways, let's not let our minds wander too much to the future.
Yes.
There's going to be so much time to talk about this, everybody. Like literally from February 8th and on.
And we're going to be here for it.
We're going to be here for it. A lot of people are going to be here for it. It's just we don't need to jumpstart it early. So I'm calling you out on it. All right. But hey, I'm focused on Green Bay. That's 6 days from now. And, oh, by the way, as the playoffs begin, I just want to remind everybody out there, folks, we can still get that final matchup between Aaron Rodgers and your Chicago Bears that we were so richly robbed of when the Steelers visited Soldier Field earlier this year. Because could you believe the end of that Ravens-Steelers game, everybody?
God.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
Wow.
It was unbelievable.
And just heartbreaking for the kicker. Just, wow, one of the roughest breaks you'll ever see. Ironically, moments after the Steelers kicker missed the extra point, which would have at least given them a guaranteed 3-point lead. The fact of the matter is that was a game-winning field goal, not a game-tying field goal like it should have been.
Winning. Mm-hmm.
Crazy times out there, folks.